Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to another Season 8 League of Legends Champion Guide. Today, I'll be covering Jungle Wukong, the Monkey King.
Improve your skills, then find me again.
Alright, so let's kick off this guide by first looking at his pros. So Wukong is a champion with some very high snowball potential and very high burst damage, assuming he does go for the lethality build. He will be able to leap onto his enemies out of stealth from his W and hit the enemy with his E and his Q, instantly one-shotting the target. He will also be able to use his W ability as a built-in escape because it does provide a short duration stealth. He's a really strong team fighter because of his AoE ultimate that does knock up any target hit, and he is also a very versatile champion. You can go for either the one-shotting build, or you could of course get really tanky and just sit in the middle of a fight with your ultimate activated, knocking up targets. Now, although he is a very strong champion, he of course has his fair share of cons as well. He has a mediocre jungle clear, so he's not able to get rid of those AoE camps that quickly. He's also a pretty mana-hungry champion, so he does really rely on those early blues to help get him through the jungle and have mana in order to gank lanes. Then finally, Wukong is a champion that's pretty weak against crowd controls. He will usually go for a rather squishy build, and if he does get caught in a crowd control and isn't able to use his W, he will die really quickly. For your runes, you want to go for Domination and Sorcery, grabbing Electrocute as your keystone. This will add a nice extra chunk of damage into your burst combos and make you really hard to deal with for squishies. You'll then want to go for Sudden Impact so you do get a nice chunk of lethality whenever you use your E ability, and then go for Zombie Ward so whenever you kill a ward you will leave behind a friendly zombie ward in its place. Then finally finish up the domination side by getting Relentless Hunter so your takedowns grant you permanent out of combat movement speed, which allows you to roam around the map quicker and gank more often. Then in the sorcery side, I like to go for the normal combo of Celerity and Water Walking. You will be granted 3% extra movement speed and extra AD based on that movement speed, and you will also get movement speed or AD whenever you are in the river. These two runes combo together very well, and they are really strong on junglers. You do also have the option of going Precision instead of Sorcery for your second and getting things like Triumph, but usually I like to just stick with Sorcery. For your first summoner spell, you'll want to pick up Flash. You're generally going to be a pretty squishy champion at least early on in the game, so this is a great summoner spell to save your life in the game over and over again. It's great to get you out of a bad position, but you could always use this to help you engage onto an enemy or reposition yourself in a team fight to hit multiple targets with your ultimate. Now, since you will be jungling for your second summoner spell, of course you will have to pick up Smite. This is going to allow you to buy your warrior jungler item, clear through the jungle and stay pretty healthy, and also secure objectives like Dragon and Baron. The blue or red smite you will be able to use on the enemies is also great whenever you are ganking lanes. Wukong's passive is Stone Skin, which does give him some bonus armor and magic resist for each visible nearby enemy champion. Now this does scale between 4 and 8, so this is one of those passives that gets stronger and stronger as the game does progress. Of course, however, the enemy will be picking up more AD and more AP as the game progresses as well, so it's not going to be really blocking more damage. Now, assuming you are in the late game, this will give you 40 bonus armor and magic resist, assuming all 5 enemies are near you. That's actually a pretty big chunk. It of course is just an innate ability, so it works at all times, so it's just going to give you a little bit of increased durability, so it is a pretty nice passive for a melee champion. Your Q ability is Crushing Blow, which is one of your main sources of single target damage that also has armor reduction added onto it. So this ability will gain an extra 125 range and also deal bonus physical damage with a 10 to 50% AD ratio. This was actually buffed this patch, it usually only had a flat percentage, but now it does scale. The ability then has a scaling armor reduction for 3 seconds at between 10 and 30% of the target's armor, and it also resets your auto attack timer. That of course means you will want to follow it after a normal basic attack so you can output as much damage as possible by instantly using another attack. Now, although this ability was buffed and it is some really nice single target damage, it's still not quite as good as our E ability, so you want to max this ability second. Either way, use it throughout the game for that high single target damage, and make sure you get it onto tanks as soon as possible to reduce their armor by a bunch. Your W ability is Decoy, which blinks you 100 units away, enters invisibility for 1.5 seconds, and leaves behind a decoy. After 1.5 seconds, the decoy will also do some AoE damage around itself, dealing magic damage. This ability here is primarily used for engaging or escaping, however. You can use this out of sight before you enter a lane to get that invisibility and then jump onto the enemy with your E ability and they wouldn't have even seen you. It's a great way to catch people off guard and get off your high damage. Now this of course is also a fantastic defensive because it will of course enter invisibility and people obviously cannot see you. If you were about to die as well and somebody was shooting a skill shot towards you, you can always use your decoy to block that attack for you as well. That's because you will actually blink 100 units away and the decoy will of course be behind you, so the skill shot will hit that instead. There's all sorts of defensive and offensive uses for this ability, and it is incredibly strong. Your E ability is Nimbus Strike, which does some nice AoE damage and also grants Wukong bonus attack speed for 4 seconds. This is also your dashing ability, so it is a really solid engage as well because it does have a 625 target range. It'll do the damage to the primary target that you jump to, as well as 2 additional enemies that are near it. That of course makes it great for clearing through the jungle, which is one of the main reasons we do max this ability. Now it does however also give a scaling attack speed of between 30 and 50%, so it's also incredibly strong in ganks. You will be able to pump out a lot of auto attacks, and when you do combine your Q ability in there as well, you will deal some devastating damage. You can always use this ability as an escape as well, because if there are enemy minions nearby, you can jump towards those and then try to run away from the enemy champion, making it have a really solid defensive use at the same time. And for your last ability, we've got the ultimate, Cyclone. This does some really high AoE damage for 4 seconds and also grants you between 5 and 40% bonus movement speed based on the time you've been channeling. Now you will have to remember that you can always reactivate this ability prematurely if you do need to, if you say you need to use your W as a defensive. Now this ability also has a 110% bonus AD ratio per second, so if you get the full duration off on a single enemy, it will have 440% AD ratio. That is crazy. This ability has a lot of potential in teamfights and can be completely devastating. It is one of the best teamfighting abilities in the entire game. This is also because the first time you hit an enemy, they will also be knocked up. That will allow the rest of your teammates to engage, and it will be easier to hold people in place so you can get off more ticks of this ultimate. It is a really strong ultimate and one of the best out there. For your skill order, you first want to put a point into your ultimate whenever you can at 6, 11, and 16. Then, because it has some really nice AoE damage and also has scaling bonus attack speed, you want to max your E ability first. Then follow up by maxing your Q ability second, because it does have a scaling AD ratio as well as armor reduction, so it is an incredibly strong single target ability. That of course means you want to save your W ability for last, but make sure you take an early point in the ability at level 2 so you do have a really solid engage and escape. For your jungle route, you want to start at your first buff with a leash from the bot lane, and then go on to your wolves and then your other buff. In this game's case, it was going for red first. Going for this jungle clear will give you level 3 really quickly with double buffs and allow you to start ganking the enemy. Wukong doesn't have the best AoE clear in the game, that's for sure, so you don't really want to go for a full clear doing golems and raptors. That's kind of a waste of time in the early game for a Wukong. You'll instead want to go for a clear like this and get yourself onto the map as quickly as you can. When ganking, you'll first want to use your decoy ability to stealth into the lane. This is a great way to catch your enemy completely off guard and do a lot of damage before they can even react to you. You'll then want to use your E ability to jump onto the enemy and use all the attack speed from that ability as well as the damage from your Q to delete your target. If you are level 6, you of course also have the option of activating your ultimate in order to do a bunch of damage to the target and also knock them up, making your gank even more effective. When teamfighting, you'll first have to decide if you're either going to help on the front line or dive the enemy backline. If you are the only somewhat tanky target on your team, then you'll probably have to stick on the front line, but if you can, dive onto the backline and delete squishies as quickly as possible. You can of course accomplish this by using the stealth from your W and your E to engage before they can even see you. Either way, you will want to activate your ultimate and hit as many targets as possible, and if you do have the black cleaver, you will also be shredding their armor, making your team fight even more effective. Now let's look at some of your hard matchups, and first up is Nocturne. He's a really strong champion right now because of his buffs, and all he has to do is wait out your W ability. As soon as he sees you waste it, he can jump on you with his ultimate and instantly one-shot you. Therefore, just be very careful when there is a Nocturne on the map, and make sure you're not engaging when he is nearby because you can always ultimate into the fight as well. For the next hard matchup, we've got Olaf. He's a really hard matchup for you because he can always activate his ultimate to avoid being knocked up by you and then just destroy you while you are spinning. He is a very tanky champion and also dishes out a pretty decent amount of damage as well, so you don't really want to fight him too much by yourself. You're definitely a better team fighter than him, however, so try to wait till that stage of the game and then fight him there. For the next hard matchup, there is Udyr. He's a really hard matchup for you because he is one of the best duelists in the entire game, and he will be able to 1v1 you rather easily. Therefore, don't 1v1 him too often, and make sure you do wait till the team fighting stage of the game because you are a lot better of a team fighter with your ultimate, so wait until you do get to the team fights. For your item build, you first want to start with a hunter's machete, refillable potion, and a warding totem. You want to go for the machete because the majority of your damage is single target, but you can still get away with a refillable potion as long as you do the 2 main camps and wolves. For your core items, you want to go for a skirmisher saber enchanted with a warrior, a duskblade, and your choice of boots. This will give you a really high amount of damage and you will be very bursty because of the duskblade. The red smite will give you even more burst damage, and as for your boots, you have a lot of different great options. Boots and mobility are really good if you want to gank as much as possible, merc treads are great against high AP and CC heavy teams, and ninja tabis are great against high AD teams. For your item pool, we first have a couple lethality options in the Yumu's Ghostblade and the Edge of Night. These are really solid ways to increase your burst damage, and the Yumu's is great for that movement speed so you can easily engage, and the Edge of Night is fantastic for its shield so you will block a crowd control whenever you do engage onto the enemies and start ultimating. You'll then pretty much always want to get either the Black Cleaver or a Trinity Force. These are great because both of them give you 20% cooldown reduction and do have a phage component giving you movement speed. Against tanky teams, I'll always go for the Black Cleaver so I can shred the armor off the targets, but against the very squishy teams, Trinity Force is a great way to do a ton of burst damage. If you are against an insanely tanky team, you may want to go for LDR so you can get through as much armor as possible. For a really solid defensive option that still has damage, you could get either Guardian Angel or a Maw. The Guardian Angel is really solid because you will have the defensive shield that allows you to come back to life if you do get caught in a bad position, and the Maw is fantastic for its defensive shield against high AP assassins. One really solid way to get some AoE damage would be a Ravenous Hydra. Then for pure defensive options, you have the Dead Man's Plate to get some armor, and the Spirit Visage to get some magic resist. Both are really solid options if you are looking to get a bit of durability. For an example full build, you want to take that core build with some boots and mobility, and then go for a Yumu's, Black Cleaver, and a Guardian Angel. This build will give you a ton of damage, and you'll also have the Black Cleaver to shred the armor off the targets with your ultimate. Of course, you also have that Guardian Angel, so you will be able to come back to life if you do die in the late game as well. And that's all I've got for Jungle Udyr. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and visit my video description below. I have a link to all my social medias, and I do also have a Discord server, so that's one you should definitely check out. But other than that, thank you guys a ton for watching. I really do appreciate it, so take it easy, have a good day, and peace.